Hey guys, Amy here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're going deep. And honestly, I'm making this video for myself just as I'm making it for you right now. So please make sure you watch this video all the way through because today we're talking about the invisible beliefs that are secretly sabotaging your success. And I don't mean just surface level mindset shit. I'm talking about the subconscious identity patterns that are keeping you stuck, keeping you spinning, and wondering why things aren't working out, even though you're trying really hard. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why success always starts internally. You're going to discover the exact beliefs that might be blocking you and essentially learn how to rewire them so you can finally create the life, the business, and the freedom that you actually want. So let's dive in. So first of all, I just want to iterate that success is not based on your potential. It's based on your identity. And your identity is just a collection of beliefs that you've repeated so often that they actually feel like facts. Now, this isn't just about positive thinking, it's about deeply ingrained self-perceptions that actually dictate your actions. Imagine having all the raw talent in the world, the most amazing ideas, and access to incredible opportunities. But if your internal narrative consistently tells you that you're not good enough, that you're an imposter, or that you will inevitably fail, then your potential will always remain untapped. Your identity acts as almost like an internal filter, and it shapes what you perceive as possible and influences every single decision that you make. And it's pretty crazy when you think about it. You can literally have the perfect business strategy, the best CV, the best resume, and a gorgeous Instagram brand. But if your internal belief system is still running stories like, I'm not consistent, I always mess things up, I'm not good enough, then guess what? You will unconsciously act in ways that match those beliefs. So this isn't a lack of willpower or anything like that. It's literally a fundamental aspect of human psychology. Now, you might procrastinate, start projects and not finish them, or self-sabotage just as you're about to achieve a breakthrough. And if you always believe that you mess things up, you will find reasons to validate that belief, even if it means missing opportunities or making errors that you otherwise wouldn't. And if you consistently compare yourself to others and believe that you're different or you're not as good as others, then you'll limit your goals and shy away from challenges that you might encounter. Why? Because you will never consistently behave in a way that contradicts who you believe that you are. Now, I'm not trying to make this some motivational bullshit quote. This is literally neuroscience. Your brain, specifically your reticular activating system, or RAS, is constantly working to filter information and confirm your existing beliefs about yourself and the world. So if your identity is rooted in limiting beliefs, then your RAS will seek out and amplify evidence that actually supports those beliefs, essentially creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. So trying to force yourself to act differently without addressing the underlying identity is like trying to drive a car with the handbrake on. You can push all you want, but you're not going to get very far, and it's going to be incredibly exhausting. So the work isn't just to hustle harder, because that's just exhausting. The work is to actually upgrade the beliefs that are shaping your behavior. And this involves a conscious and deliberate effort to actually look at your internal narrative. It means identifying the deeply held beliefs that are holding you back and actively working to reframe them. It's about building a new and more empowering identity through consistent action and self-talk. And when you truly believe that you are capable, that you are consistent, and that you are worthy of success, your actions will just naturally align and the external results will follow. This is the true leverage point for lasting transformation. So let's zoom in and get really clear on what a limiting belief actually is. A limiting belief is a deeply ingrained story or a persistent thought or an unconscious assumption that you hold about yourself, that you hold about others, or even that you hold about the world. These beliefs put a concrete, invisible limit on what you perceive as possible for yourself and your life, and they act as a self-imposed boundary that really restricts your potential and shapes your reality. And here's the real kicker. Most of these beliefs aren't even conscious. They don't live in your active, rational mind. They live in your subconscious. They're quiet, they're constant, and they are relentlessly draining your energy and your potential without you even realizing it most of the time. These limiting beliefs can be about nearly any part of your life: your worth and deservingness, your intelligence and capacity to learn, your physical body and its capabilities, your past experiences and how they defined you, or even your future potential and what you deem achievable. And because they are so fundamental, they subtly yet powerfully shape how you see the world, how you show up in the world, and what you allow yourself to actually receive, whether that's success, whether that's love, whether that's abundance, whether that's joy, literally anything in the world. They manifest in everyday actions and inactions. They show up in how you price your services, whether you post that piece of content, how you speak about yourself when no one else is around. And recognizing these subtle signs is the first step towards getting rid of their hold. So before we talk about how to change these beliefs, we need to actually see them and bring awareness to them clearly, because you can't heal what you can't see. So let's break down the 6 invisible beliefs that I see most often keeping people stuck. And they're not just fleeting thoughts, they are deeply ingrained beliefs that are subtly sabotaging your efforts and holding you back from achieving your true potential. Number 1 is, I'm not good enough. This is probably the most persuasive and insidious belief, and it doesn't usually manifest as this dramatic declaration of unworthiness. It's usually very quiet, it whispers, it's seemingly rational. Maybe you're thinking things like, I just need more experience first. And I see this way too often in the high ticket space. It's just unreal. And it usually translates to an endless cycle of learning, preparing, without ever actually taking the leap. You believe that one more certification, one more course, one more year in your current role will suddenly make you ready. But honestly, guys, the truth is readiness is an internal state, not an external accumulation of knowledge. Number 2 is, if I try and fail, it means I'm a failure. This belief is the root cause of procrastination and self-sabotage. Trust me, it's not laziness that's keeping you from taking action. It's actually your mind trying to self-protect. Your mind, in an attempt to shield you from perceived pain, basically thinks, if I don't try fully, then I can't fail fully. And this ultimately leads to half-hearted attempts, missed deadlines, and just a general reluctance to put yourself out there. You might even create scenarios that guarantee a less than optimal outcome, just to confirm your subconscious belief that you're not meant to succeed. But here's the thing. The real failure isn't in trying and falling short. The real failure is in never actually giving yourself a real shot, in never truly knowing what you're capable of because you were too afraid to try. Number 3 is, success equals sacrifice. Now, this is a deeply ingrained subconscious belief that usually operates beneath your conscious awareness. Most people don't even realize they have this. You might logically desire success, but deep down you associate it with negative outcomes like burnout, or losing your freedom, or compromising on your values, or becoming someone that you don't want to be. This narrative often stems from observing others' paths to success, where the struggle and demand seem to outweigh the rewards. And because of this, even when incredible opportunities present themselves, you find yourself just unconsciously pulling back. Maybe you're sabotaging, and you're just, you're not allowing yourself to progress. Number 4, it worked for her, but I'm not like her. This has been a really big one for me personally to get to grips with myself. And this is a belief that is a subtle form of self-sabotage that shows up when you watch other people achieving what you desire. You admire these people who have achieved what you wish to achieve, but deep down, you hold a core conviction that you're different from them. You make them seem special, extraordinary, and unique, while at the same time making yourself seem small, ordinary, and incapable. And this belief massively discounts your own strengths, your own experiences, and your potential. And it also prevents you from seeing the fact that success is often a result of consistent effort and belief, not some unreplicatable trait. You might say things like, oh, they just have a natural talent, or their circumstances were different than mine. When in reality, you're just projecting your own limiting beliefs onto their achievements. Number 5 is, money is hard to make. This belief system is usually rooted in childhood experiences or societal conditioning, and it manifests in various financial behaviors. It can lead to significant sales resistance, where you hesitate to confidently pitch your offerings or close deals. And it's a primary reason for people undercharging their services, really believing that your value isn't worth a higher price point. And then probably the most frustrating part is it can lead to sabotaging yourself just before reaching your next income level. You might experience unexpected expenses, client cancellations, or maybe just a sudden lack of motivation right when you're on the cusp of a financial breakthrough. Trust me, this isn't bad luck. It is your subconscious mind programmed to believe that money is a source of stress or danger, and you're actively pushing it away. Number 6 is I always quit or I'm not consistent. This was another one for me, and it's not a behavioral problem. It is a deeply ingrained identity belief. You've likely been labeled this way either by others or by yourself since childhood. And maybe you started loads of projects, but you finished none, or maybe you struggled with routines. And over time, this label becomes a core part of your self-identity. And as a result of this, you repeat the pattern, not because you're flawed or incapable of consistency, but because it feels familiar. And your brain prefers the comfort of what it knows, even if that known is just a cycle of starting and stopping. Breaking this belief requires a conscious decision to redefine your identity, to see yourself as someone who perseveres, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Now, let that all just land for a second here, because these beliefs are powerful, right? But they're not set in stone. And becoming aware of them is the first crucial step towards unpacking their hold and unlocking your true potential. So where do these beliefs actually come from? They're usually not yours. They're deeply ingrained beliefs that shape our perceptions and actions, and they're rarely original thoughts that we consciously choose. Instead, they are like a puzzle pieced together from various external influences throughout our lives. You could have picked them up from childhood and family experiences. Our early years are a hotbed for forming beliefs. Bad experiences, constant cheering on, or even just a tiny reoccurring message from adults can create core beliefs about ourselves and the world. A kid who's always told that they're clumsy, for example, might start to believe that they're actually not good at anything, while one who's praised for trying might grow up believing in their own abilities. And the people around us and how society is set up really, really matters. Teachers as well, with what they teach and how they respond, they can make us believe certain things about how good we are in school or where we fit in socially. Our parents, who often without realizing it hand down their own ideas about money, what success means, relationships, taking chances and things like that. Another one is past failures that hurt. The sting of past failures can leave lasting impressions on us when a significant setback or disappointment happens, especially one that comes with, deep emotional pain. Our minds often create a protective belief to explain it or to prevent it from happening again. So, for example, if you had a failed business venture, that might lead to the belief that I'm just not good at business, or a painful relationship breakup could form the belief that I'm not worthy of love. Now, these beliefs are initially born from pain and can ultimately become self-fulfilling prophecies. Another one is comparing yourself online. This is huge. Now, social media is a huge culprit. It's constantly showing us these perfect filtered lives. And it's easy to start thinking things like, I'm not doing enough, or I don't look good enough, or everyone has their fucking life together except me. And all of that comparison really messes with how we see ourselves, and it can plant some seriously negative ideas. Now, beliefs aren't chosen, they're created. And let's be honest, we rarely sit down and consciously decide what we want to believe about ourselves or the world. So instead, these powerful internal beliefs are subconsciously formed and cemented through repetition, emotional intensity, and where they came from. But the thing that's actually keeping them here, that's on you. While the initial creation of these beliefs are beyond our control, the ongoing reinforcement of these beliefs are entirely within our power to change. Recognizing where they come from is the first step towards consciously choosing which beliefs to keep and which to challenge and ultimately throw away. So what if we could rewrite them? What if we could consciously choose beliefs that empower us? Beliefs that help us move towards the life that we truly desire and deserve. This isn't just some woo-woo kind of magical thinking. It's a practical 5-step process to rewire your mind and cultivate unshakable confidence. So grab a journal, make some notes, and let's rewire. Step number 1 is name it to tame it. This is where the real work begins. We can usually see the surface level behaviors that we want to change, but we rarely pause to think about the underlying belief that's actually fueling them. Are you procrastinating on that important project? Maybe the belief, I'm not good enough to succeed, is holding you back. Are you shying away from speaking your truth? Maybe the belief, my voice doesn't matter, is playing out. This step requires courage and a real willingness to look inwards and acknowledge the uncomfortable truths. Ask yourself, what belief is actually running this behavior? And write it down. No matter how illogical or painful it might seem, the act of naming it really brings it into the light and it gives you the power over it. Step number 2 is trace the source. Now, once you've identified the belief, it's time to become a detective and trace its origins. Where did this belief first take root in your mind? Was it a comment from a well-meaning parent or a critical teacher or even a friend's judgment? Usually these beliefs are inherited or absorbed from our environment before we even have the capacity to question them. So whose voice is it really? Does that person, the original source of the belief, actually live the life that you want to live? Do they embody the confidence, the success, and the freedom that you aspire to? This step is crucial for detaching yourself from that belief, because when you realize that it's not actually yours, but it's just a hand-me-down from somebody else's worldview, it really begins to start to loosen its grip. Number 3 is challenge the belief. Now it's time to put that belief on trial. Is it always true? Can you find one example that proves it wrong? Think of a time when, even though you're holding this belief, you acted in a way that contradicted it. Perhaps you believed, I'm just not creative, and then you painted a beautiful picture. Or maybe you thought, I'm just not good at public speaking, but then you delivered an amazing presentation. These small acts of defiance are powerful evidence against the belief's truth. Then consider the cost. What is this belief actually costing you? Is it costing you opportunities, peace of mind, fulfilling relationships, or financial abundance? Really understanding the heavy price that you're paying for clinging to this belief gives you such a strong motivation to actually let it go. Number 4 is replace it with a power statement. You can't just get rid of an old belief without replacing it with something new and empowering. And this is where you become the author of your own story. So write a new belief or a power statement that actively serves you and propels you towards your goals. These aren't just empty affirmations. They are deeply felt truths that you choose to embody. Think about what you want to believe about yourself. For example, it could be, I become more confident every time I take action. Each step I take, regardless of the outcome, builds my self-assurance. Or maybe it could be, I'm not behind, I'm building. My journey is unique, and I'm consistently creating a strong foundation for success. Or maybe it's my voice matters and my ideas deserve to be heard. Or even I'm worthy of abundance and success in all areas of my life. Repeat these statements regularly, write them down, say them out loud into a mirror, and really immerse yourself in these new truths. And step number 5 is take defiant action. This is my favorite one, and it is the most crucial and probably the most challenging step. But your beliefs are solidified through action. You don't need to feel 100% confident to take action. Actually, true confidence comes after action. You just need literally 10 seconds of bravery to push past that old limiting belief and take a step forward. And this is where you actively contradict the old belief, proving to yourself that it no longer holds any power over you. So if your old belief was, I'm not good enough to be seen, then post the damn video. If your belief was, my ideas just aren't worth pursuing, then send the pitch. If your old belief was, I'm not worth what I charge, raise your prices. Think of one tangible, small action that you can take today that directly opposes that old belief. It doesn't have to be some enormous leap. It can just be a tiny step to create enough momentum. And each defiant action is a vote for your new belief, a brick in the foundation of your newfound confidence. And these new beliefs, they're not fully formed, strong oak trees yet. They're just little seedlings. They're delicate, but they are full of potential. And like any seedling, they grow fast and they grow strong when they're in the right environment. So nurture them with consistent action and self-compassion and a real commitment to your own growth. The more you act from a place of your new power statements, the more deeply rooted and unshakable your confidence will become. But remember, guys, you don't rise to the level of your potential, you fall to the level of your patterns. So let's change the damn patterns, okay? If this video shifted something for you, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what belief that you are rewriting today. And if you want more like this, then make sure you hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. But remember, you've got this. I'm rooting for you always. And thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.